Hey y'all, it's Anna V, and you, my friend, are listening to the All American Wing Shooting Podcast. I am a hunter, conservationist, mom of 2 girls I have raised in the outdoors, and a proud owner of a truck full of dogs. My passion is guiding you to confidence, sharing in tradition, and celebrating the true meaning of success in the field. Here we go.
George, you're on.
Hey y'all, welcome back to the Sporting Legacy Lifestyle with Kevin and Anna V. We are feeling the holidays. I mean,
We are.
time for a little bit of a break. The weather's been rough.
Yeah.
It was
Had a
19 here yesterday.
Had a little, 19, huh?
Yeah.
We'll tell you what, we had single digits and we got 8 inches of snow on the ground.
No way.
8 inches of snow on the ground. I had Moses out yesterday and he got a couple of what I call flat tires. When you get snowballs in the paws, call them flat tires. He puts his paw up and said, "Dad, fix my feet." So we had a couple of those yesterday when we were running them. So other than that, everything was good.
So, you said you just came from a lesson. So did you get to use your heated shooting house today?
Actually, I did not. I made them on a forced march. He was interested in doing a little duck hunting, so I had him out on my new duck blind, and we kind of got him around the course. It's got to be a lot colder than this to fire up the heat in my heated shooting house. But come early January, when we see single digits, we will definitely be firing up the propane. So.
Want to come? I want to come. I'm supposed to be with the ladies in South Carolina quail hunting, but if for some reason we aren't there, then I'm going to come up there.
You should definitely come to the up north here and experience a little winter wonderland and some roosters, and we'll get some dogs out and shoot a few pheasant in the snow.
Gosh, I just about turned my table over. Okay, so we talk we're such advocates for the sporting lifestyle, like everything lifestyle. I've really done a lot of home good stuff that I normally don't do, because you and I off camera have talked about how I can bring just some unique aspects that you and the guys in the shooting room don't really bring to the ladies. And that is, taking this lifestyle that we have, that we love, into the house. And so I was thinking about that because I was just in Thomasville over the weekend. And so, of course, I ran into Kevin's, and they do an amazing job.
Yep, that's the place.
For home goods and stuff. And so we live that way at home. It's pretty lodgy around here with the spode and the silver and all that. And I may dress in hoodies, but I still like those fancy traditions of, I say Southern lifestyle, but y'all do it pretty dang good up there in New Jersey.
Yeah, listen, if you come to my living room, you will, I have a wood burning stove, a Vermont castings. You will see my trophy case. You will see various ducks mounted on the wall, maybe a pheasant, a lot of trophies, a lot of knickknacks from hunts. I that's how I live. My stuff is all in my house. I don't hide it in the basement. I never really wanted my house to look like a trophy room. I do have quite a few mounts, but it's not the quote trophy room. But
yeah, me too. I wanted it to be everywhere. I just want to spread it out.
Right.
But, yeah, Griffin and Howe does a fancy job. I love dinners at Hudson Farm.
What's not to like? You're looking around the walls up at the main house, right?
Yes, it's so fancy, but it's still relaxed. It's quite all right if you wear your shooting vest straight off the course right into dinner and cocktail hour. And I love that. So we were talking about that. So I'm just going to keep bringing cool things to the ladies up there. And I'm super excited about that new project. But that means also Griffin and Howe has one of the best pro shops of anywhere I have ever been.
So you're probably on top with that. The sheer size of it is big enough that we can offer It's not a box store. We don't want to be a box store. We sell. Our motto is finest in firearms, and the apparel that we sell is all of top-notch quality. We're not a box store that sells volume. We sell to the discriminating wing shooter, dog handler, big game hunter. The kind of products and services that folks are looking for that they can't find in other destinations. That's who we
Exactly.
are.
And I
That's
know you guys,
exactly who we are.
yes, and you're working really hard to get all of those products online, but until that happens, I was like, okay, what's some last minute things that people could run into their local store that we value so much, just for last minute gifts? And I am telling you that you can never go wrong with giving shells. Like a flat of shells doesn't sound very creative, but I bet that would be anyone's favorite gift.
But you know what? The guy duck hunts, right? So treat him to some heavy shot, right?
Yeah.
Treat him to some heavy shot or a really good bit, high speed bismuth. Treat him to something that he might look at and say, that's a little, but buy him something that he wouldn't buy him for himself, or buy her something that she wouldn't normally buy for herself because she thinks it's just a lot of reach. That's the perfect gift, right?
Yes,
Buy
like a
her.
little splurge.
So I have a celebrity. One of my students is a celebrity. We'll keep it, and they just redid their library. So what is the perfect gift for a guy that just redid his library? A decoy.
Yes,
What?
that is
A
perfect.
decoy. I mean, you got to have a decoy up amongst the books, looking down at you, keeping an eye on you.
Yes, absolutely. So I love my
So
collection of decoys, and that is also something really cool to collect at Ducks Unlimited banquets because we love
there
going
you
to
go.
those.
So some are working decoys. And I love giving people some of my old working decoys because I can tell them stories about where they've been, who gunned over that decoy, and then I have some decoys that I've picked up at the decoy shows, more decorative stuff, and it depends where they're going. But this particular one, he doesn't know what he's going to get, but it's already packed up. It's going to get there before Christmas, and it will be a spot in his library up on a shelf, and it'll be the first one in his collection. So you can start a whole new tradition with sparking something like that. So
Well,
that's what's
I'm
happening
I'm
there.
going over the summer to Pat Gregory's. I told you about him, my buddy that he's been on a podcast, and his great grandfather built decoys in the late 1800s, and he's carried on that tradition. And so I'm gonna go to his shop because I want to make one, and I'm probably gonna need some help painting because I did go to art school, but I draw in straight lines. I can draw a house
Painting
plan, but I
decoys,
am not gonna be an artist. But
painting
then next
decoys
year we
is
can hunt over it. I'll
yeah,
go up with you
yeah.
and put it in the spread.
So what are you going to do? You're going to do a wooden decoy. You're going to do a cork decoy. The
It does
decoy
work. Yep.
cork. So that's very practical. Um, most of my spread is cork. Not all of them. Some of them. I have some handmade, what we call Delaware Bay decoys, which are basswood and they're cedar and they're hollow and they put a split shot inside. So when you shake the decoy, you can hear the split shot moving around to prove that it's empty. And they put a little piece of lead tape on the bottom to upright the decoy, and that's the old style way of doing a decoy. So
We're
old,
we're getting all kinds of visitors today.
yes, we do, and that's okay. Everybody's welcome.
No, this is live show. This is real life.
This is real. This is real. This is not. We're not hiding in a corner somewhere. We're in the
No.
middle of traffic here. So I think decoy collecting for the sake of the artistry part and
Yes, the
and
craftsmanship.
for the home furnishings is an awesome way for the ladies to get involved in too,
Okay,
and
so
and
let's
and a lot
educate.
of other knickknacks.
What's the price range on this? Because I could get totally addicted, but I know that these decoy auctions are
So
insane.
yes,
Can get pretty out of control.
you can get depending on what part of the country. Now, if you're going to get involved in collecting decoys and stuff, there is, just like firearms, there is a tradesman level where you can say, hey, that's a really nice decoy for 75 bucks. Okay. Then you can go to, one of Harry's decoys from 1890 and it's 7,500. That's a whole separate, we're not, that's a great place. That's something very different.
Do they
When
get
you
to
get
like
involved,
50,000? Like, can they
you,
get up there?
if you get one of Harry's decoys from Delaware Bay, you're talking big money. There were two brothers that were well known and they're highly sought after, and all the good stuff has been picked up and it's all documented in books. So the fun thing is finding decoys that you like that will fit in the decor of your home.
Right.
And the ladies are great at that. They pick up on the colors. They pick up on what would,
Yes.
and man, you could just have a ball with it.
I would
Absolutely.
love to just collect all different styles or people
Yeah.
or different makers wood ducks, because the wood duck is so beautiful and is so colorful. But I'm sure everybody has their own little spin on it.
So each decoy carver has a different interpretation
Hmm.
of his presentation of a wood duck. Moving around the different parts of the country, materials available.
Right.
So down South Jersey, all they had was cedar, so they made decoys out of cedar. There's no cork anywhere in New Jersey. The only place where cork came from was refrigeration cars, and they used to get it out of old railroad cars, and it used to be 6 inches thick, and they'd glue it together, but it was a very coarse cork, which is not really great for decoys. But when you're on the economy side, and the old time shooters, they really didn't care about that. We used to call them blocks, right? We didn't, we'd call a decoy a block. So it would be the basic shape, the basic color with a wooden head, and that was plenty. That was just fine. It was a roughed out way of, that's what your spread looked like, and they killed plenty of birds like that, right? They harvested plenty of birds like that. So you can find some of that old stuff still out there, but finer detail cork, very close knit decoy cork is expensive. You have to sort out after it, and the good carvers go after that. But there's so many different areas you could get really involved with decoys. The way they carved up in Wisconsin is very different than what you'd see in Maryland, right? What they
Yeah.
shot over in the Chesapeake Bay is very different.
Okay. My brain is just going bang, 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 because I think you were spot on that women would enjoy this.
Great part,
And
right?
I just want to plan another event because maybe I could just bring somebody to us up to the gun club. So that would be super fun. Okay, so now talking about from a lady's perspective, we like treasure hunting. That's what I call all my junk stores. I
Yep,
am
treasure
treasure
hunt.
hunting. So as I'm out treasure hunting, I run across some decoys. Typically, if I really like them, like you say, if the aesthetic fits what I have, I might just buy them.
Right.
If it's not like
Also,
a make or break. But how do I know, like, what should I be looking for? Because if one is like 75 or $100, I'm gonna kind of be like, man, I don't know. I really gotta love it. But
well,
me
look, listen.
loving it isn't necessarily educated about the value of the actual decoy itself. What if I pass up something amazing that nobody knew was great and they just
Well, you're
priced
probably
it
going to
for a
do that a
trend?
time or two, but I would tell you is, first off, if there's five of the same exact decoy on the shelf and they look exactly the same and they're made and it says made in China, we know that it's a. Now it might be a really good looking, it might be. Let's just say, so there's other birds, right? You can also say it can be a decoy of an owl. It could be a woodcock decoy. It could be three or four dove decoys, right?
Yeah, I've never ran
Right.
across a dove decoy.
Right? Dove decoys, they'd hang them on strings and hang them over the wires, right?
Hmm.
To show presence, right? Put them up on
Okay.
the wires with that. So there's a lot of different songbirds, right? A lot of guys, I knew the old timers that used to do a lot of work with their hands. I used to have a friend that was a welder, and to keep his hands in shape, he used to love to carve songbirds and decoys and put them up on a spread. Put two or three songbirds up on a couple of branches, and then put it together. And you can find a lot of that stuff out there. So it's just not waterfowl. So there's a lot of different avenues. But I mean, the girls have this tremendous ability of putting two and two together and getting the right, backdrop and decoy. And it's like, man, what a final look. It
So
just
I
and it
should look
just
for
and it
stick
just grows
figures.
old because
Like a
you
stick
put one
figure is a
up and then
good
all of a sudden
sign.
you add another one and all of a sudden you start to create this environment in your house. Like, what a cool place to hang out. Got the fireplace going, got my decoys out there, got this stuff there, got an old side by side hammer gun over the top of the fireplace.
I
Cool
have a muzzle
stuff.
loader that was,
Muzzle loader.
yeah, that was, and it's an antique in the family, but I don't have any shotguns up. They might be propped in a corner, but I don't have any hanging on the wall.
Well, that depending on where you live in the world dictates a lot of that too. We don't really display our stuff up here in Jersey or, up in the Northeast because it's a different culture. But there was a time, it would be very appropriate to have a 1850s to 1870s old Belgian made hammer gun 12 bore up against over the top of the fireplace and said, boy, can you imagine the stories that
Yeah.
waterfowl piece could tell you, right?
You know what
Or
I
you can
would
dream them. You can always dream of it. Said, can you just imagine? Go back
can you just
120
imagine?
years and you know.
Okay, so talking about that, I saw an ad like with all the Christmas ads coming out. I saw a historic ad that was for a Chevy truck that came with a Winchester.
Was it a suburban?
No, it was a pickup, and I mean, I guess it was a. I don't know, would that have been in the 50s, the 60s, something like that? I was like, how
I,
cool would that be to find that
absolutely.
pair and put that back
Um,
together? That'd be so cool.
right? An old 1952 Chevy pickup, and you buy the pickup and you get a lever action 30-30. You know
Yes.
that was very common. I would tell you that was a very common culture of, well, why wouldn't the guy want one of those if he buys this
I just think
pickup?
that is so cool.
You know, you
You could
wouldn't
have
think
got
of
it
it
done with
now.
your truck. I mean, when I was in elementary school, my dad had a wood gun rack in the back glass. Like, it was normal.
Absolutely. Everybody display, it wasn't display, it was the usefulness of, look, if it's number one, the pickup was a farm implement, right? You're out there on the back 40 or back 60, right? And you have a coyote, or the gun is either in the car ready to go, or you're just going to miss that opportunity. Rodent control, whatever it is, everyone always had either shotgun or a lever action gun in the pickup truck.
Okay, back to talking about collectibles because I love this. I geek out about the craftsmanship about all these things. Now, I have told you that I can shoot and I've got some really good dogs, but I could not, and this has probably been the hardest thing to accept in my life. There's never been anything that I couldn't figure out a way or get coached to be good at anything except for blowing a duck call. Now, I bought in an antique shop this cute little cabinet, and I'll have to post a picture of it because right now it's holding all of not Jay Tater's shooting trophies from last year, but it's empty. It's got a glass door and it's got open shelves and
Hmm.
it's curved around the side and it's got these cute little feet. And I said it could hang on the wall or it could sit on a cabinet. So right now it's set on a buffet. And I specifically bought that because I wanted to start collecting duck calls. And so I think that is another thing. I mean, maybe the ladies wouldn't love that as much because they're not as decorative. But for anyone that has appreciation for woodworking, man, what a science.
Yep. And again, different regions of the country, guys made different calls of A, what materials they had to work with, and B, the ducks they were actually calling. The hardness of the wood dictates the voice, reed length and the tube and the horn. And That's a whole nother avenue. Antique duck calls.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Fun fact I'm Googling. We're going to see if you know this because you are such a wealth of knowledge. I love going down these little like detours we take in conversation all the time.
Bring it.
Okay. Who made the first duck call? Do you know?
Indi-
What now?
Chesapeake Indians.
Well, that's not what the computer says. The
What
Chesapeake.
does what does AI say?
Okay, it says the first. Oh, this says toy duck call. My gosh, that's not what I googled.
Think about it. Indigenous people used waterfowl as part of their food source.
Okay, it does say early use. Native
Typically,
Americans used decoys made from natural minerals, and the wood carved decoys became prominent in North America in 19th and 20th centuries. The famous wood carvers are up there with you, the Ward brothers.
Wood
But
brothers.
we know, like that. Of course, there were really famous carvers before the 30s. But I guess that's one brand to be looking for if you find them in a treasure
Yeah,
hunt.
if you find the Ward brothers decoy, remember there's probably 30, 40 years of guys before us picking up all that good stuff, and it really just the more that stuff shifts around, the higher the price goes. But the Ward brothers, if you go to Maryland, they have a museum of their stuff, and I've
Yes,
been there a
we need to
number of
go
times.
there.
Pretty cool stuff. Definitely worth a trip. Next time you come up here, we can. It's probably
Okay, it goes back
3
here
hours.
before the Native Americans. I had to change my search.
So Native Americans were always the first to make game calls. Primitive, use their mouth to intimidate or reproduce the sounds of nature. And I would always throw it in like the Seneca Indians and the tribes along the waterways of the big flyways. And they also used to trap ducks, you know.
Okay, this is crazy. Primitive bone whistles were 12,000 years ago. But the first modern patent duck call with a reed and mouthpiece was by Elam Fisher in 1870. Though Fred Allen made similar barrel calls commercially in Illinois from 1863, leading to today's designs. And
There you
then it
go.
talks about the double reed. The first patent double reed was in 1957. Now, something that I have not seen is talking about is a metal reed call. Have you seen a metal reed?
I've seen one, but I don't, I didn't really care for the sound. Always stayed with I like the lower tones.
I think that is what the showroom is missing. Some decoys and some collectible calls.
I'll have to send that up the pipeline. I will have to
Yes.
just send that right up there.
And I think they should have me shopping for them. That'd be so fun.
There you go.
Because that showroom, okay, first of all, our friends did all the cabinetry in there, which is amazing. Like, they're such legends, and it is an experience to shop there. And of course, like, it's Christmas, so I'm going to think about shopping, and so I'm like getting a little selfish, like, well, I hope somebody thought about this for me because this is what I would want to give. Like,
There you go. Right?
do you think about that? Do you do that where, of course, we value these things. If you give them away, do you think that
Uh,
people are going to value them as much? Because I would totally judge somebody if I gave them something so precious and they didn't love it, and I would be like,
I'll tell
"I'm glad
you,
we're getting a
Anna,
candle next year."
I'm going to tell you where I'm at. I'm going to be 71 in May. I've got a really lot of cool stuff in my possession, and I'm starting to kind of let some of it go because I've had it for 50 years.
Yeah.
And like I tell you, my friend, he's telling me, I actually watched him in the pro shop here about 2 weeks ago, looking for something for the shelf in his library.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I will take care of that. I'm going to send you something. Now, he doesn't know what he's getting. So, I've had a whole case at home full of these decoys. I got a lot of award winning stuff. And, I probably have 150 duck decoys handmade at the house from my spreads and stuff. And they're probably going to start to find little places in the world to live someplace else. So, you know, I'd rather, for me, from my perspective, I would rather give someone a decoy that they weren't expecting than to quote sell it. Like the
Yeah.
monetary value ain't worth really much. I'd rather have the experience of giving somebody a decoy and getting the wow factor and say, now it's your turn. It's your turn to take care of it for the next 25 years. So
And
that's
it
where I'm
really
at.
has become such a trend that I went to a wedding last year where my friend, she
Excuse
runs
me.
a lodge in Virginia, a quail lodge. And then her father-in-law runs Green Top Sporting Goods. And that is what they used as their signing book, is the decoy, and everybody signed their decoy so that they will have that. And I've seen that become a trend, and I was like, that is really special
Yeah.
because
Yep.
you
Something a
know
little bit different, right? A little
Ramsey
bit
Russell
different.
takes one on a hunt, so everybody that hunts with him signs them. And I do think that is just a super special way to have like your yearbook.
That's probably a nice, unique way to, remember your trip. You go, some people like me, I do yearly trips that I'm going on for many, many years. So to get involved with that and bring a decoy or bring some form of nostalgia that you will keep and have everybody sign it. We sign typically we do a sporting clay event, and actually it's for special forces in Texas. And we've been fortunate to my team and I have been on the podium a time or two. So the person that sponsors us, we sign each other's trophy, and then we give it to the sponsor who sent us as a momentum.
Yeah.
Everybody signed the team, and we give him the trophy.
Hmm.
So this way, it's like, you know what, you sponsored us. Here's your reward. Here's thank you very much. And it's kind of nice that everybody signs it, and we sign each other's stuff. This year, I bought everybody, a couple of momentums, and I have everybody sign each other's stuff. Says, look, you're only going to get through here once in your life, so make note of it. So good stuff.
Oh my gosh, I did read a quote. I could probably find it in my phone, but it said, um, like life isn't like reading a book. You can't turn the page back and reread it.
No, you
You
cannot,
know?
man. You only get around once. You
And
better
it's
get it
hit
right.
me so hard this year. And I think it's because it's the first year that I haven't been hunting every single week. And I'm like, man, I sure missed that. And I needed this year off. I needed it. I mean, you can only do that for so long before you have to have a
Yeah,
break.
you
And
got
I'm
to
raising
catch
up
up a
this
little bit.
puppy. And my puppy's doing really, really good. And she's going to be a rock star next year. And so it'll be worth the downtime. But it's made me think more about the nostalgia and traditions that I can implement instead of just living in the fast lane.
Right.
Um,
Hey,
so
have both.
yeah, I'm grateful for this, but I do. I think about sentimental stuff. So as we're going through Christmas, I'm like, man, these things that we love, that we would love to give, we almost have to plan a year in advance for that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to start putting these things at the forefront of my mind to think about all year long instead of waiting for Christmas like I'm
Right.
supposed to be doing.
As you go through your journeys, that's when you pick a little of this up and a little of that. And,
Yeah.
you know, you go to these little knickknack stores and you look down and there's a little tool that an old timer used to load his own shotgun shells that does the roll crimping on it. You see those all out. No, most people don't know what they are. You got to pick them up. I give those away as gifts. At one time, I probably had 7 or 8 of those. I've given them away as gifts. People put them in the bottom of their gun case. They're little knickknacks that people talk about. What's this? Oh, well, guy sat at his kitchen table and made his own roll. I mean, a lot of guys didn't buy their shells. They loaded their own, right? They were on a
Yeah.
budget. They loaded their own. and they loaded them the way they wanted to, and they all were shooting paper shells back then. They had
Yes,
these
and
little
that's the other
tools.
thing is shell boxes. That's another thing that is a really
Absolutely.
cool gift.
I have a full collection of those from the 20s right on out. Different the way they advertisements,
Yes.
right? The way they advertise their shelves, and you get some good clean boxes that really pop. Man, what a great way to go in a trophy room on top of the fireplace or in the gun case. Just a great stuff.
I
Great
mix
stuff.
mine with like antique books. That's what I've got in my cabinet right now. I've got antique books, dog training books, things like that, with shell boxes and a whole row of decoys. Love it.
And
And you can't have
antique
enough.
shells. Antique shells. I've got a whole line of brass shells, right? Whole lineup of solid brass shells that they used to shoot, paper shells, rolled shells. Just every manufacturer, everybody had a different way of doing it. It's all just like nostalgia that will bring you back to say, man, I wonder when this guy used to use this kind of shit. This kind of shell, and you see these little crimps around the outside, and say, gee, there's one I never saw before. And they used to really sometimes actually decorate the shell because I mean, if it looked better, it obviously must shoot better, right? Different colored paper, thinner
Who's that
paper,
now? Like,
you
what are
know.
you
And
talking about? Like,
and
that's
back then,
the story of
they
the
used
industry.
they put wax on the shells to keep them dry. Waterfowl, you had to put wax on, otherwise, wet paper shells don't go bang too well, right? So,
What was that buildup like in your barrel?
well, the wax is on the backside, outside of the hull, and there's just a minimum amount of wax around the seal. The card wad on the top, they put a minimal amount of wax on that. Not really going to create much pressure. I don't think nobody ever. I mean, I'm sure you could put enough, ever more than the crimp would hold the pressure, make the pressure rise too quick. That's how they kept their stuff waterproof, and it was just a thin layer.
Hmm.
So you'll see a lot of that stuff. But like I said, I'm not
Well,
going to say all the good stuff has been scoffed up, but if you look, you will find some very interesting stuff.
okay, well, I want to see some. I want you to send me some pictures and send me some inspiration. And then I'm going to start posting some of my old stuff. I just love it. I have picked
I
up,
will. I will take some pictures. I'll tell you what. I'll
yeah.
photograph some of my stuff, and I'll send you pictures of it, and you can post it. And I'll describe what it is and where it came from, and the time error, and
No idea
occasionally
how
say, by
much
the
like
way,
that.
I have two of these, not just one. I have two of these. So I will tell you that there was a time, the guys. Let's just say there was so much really old classic stuff available to collect back in the 50s because you had outdoor people using it from the 30s through the 40s, and they were just maybe starting to retire out of it. In the 50s it was all out there: boats, boat motors, old waterfowl guns, old decoys, fishing poles. Here's another thing: old fishing tackle, also for the ladies, that can really bring a scenario together, with the fish box, a
Mm-hmm.
fishing pole, a nice old handmade reel, old brass reel. It
And
doesn't
a
have to be name brand
basket.
stuff. It just,
Yes.
yeah, it creates a, like, yeah, we love fishing. That's how the folks up in the Adirondacks decorate their cabins with all the kind of stuff like that. But it brings on a really warm feeling, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. I love it. And I love coming
Everything
home.
doesn't have to be new and shiny to be cool.
No, I don't have anything new, and things are missing knobs, and just it's the imperfect makes it
Yeah.
perfect. And
Yep.
I
And I
love
like
that
technology
feel.
too. I'm all in on handheld computers for long range rifle shooting. Count me in on that stuff. But I also like some of the old stuff too.
I
You
just like
know,
living. Yeah, I like to be surrounded by the old stuff. But yes, I'm with you because you've had to help me fix my gun because I got in a little bind. But instead of shooting my side by side on that trip, I just shot my Benelli, and it was
There you
fine.
go.
It was fine.
But just do what I told you, hard piece of hardwood and just push down on the action. You'll recock that lever and you'll have the barrels back on. And you will not be in that position.
Well, thank you for the tried and true
There
little
you go.
information that you only learn the hard way.
If you knew how many guns I've had to kind of do a little quickie on trips, people taking their side lock off and not knowing how to get it back together,
Oh my
people
gosh.
uncocking their side by sides, their Lefevres and this and that, and they drop it, and now they can't get the barrels back on. So hold on, give me the gun. Let me show you what here. This is how you got to do it. Click, click, and I get it back in. So certainly don't want them to lose the ability to shoot their favorite gun on a trip they've been waiting all year long for.
Exactly.
They
And
go
then,
to clean their gun and the trigger group comes out. They don't know how to get it back in. That's a
gosh,
classic, you
that
know.
that could be a nightmare too.
Or the famous, the infamous. We go on a duck trip and they need an O-ring for their 1187 or their 1100. And I pull one out of my pack and said, "You mean this O-ring? The one that every duck hunter should have because somebody's going to shoot that gun and they're going to tear an O-ring and they're going to have a one shooter now, right?" So all that little stuff, a little
See,
bag of
these are
tricks.
all great little gifts too. That
You got to have your little bag
nothing,
of
but it's
tricks,
like
right?
put it in a cute little container. It's ready to go. Just goes right in the hunting bag.
Yep.
Those
No
things are
different,
so appreciated.
no different than your first aid kit for your dog, right?
Mhm.
In your strap vest.
Yep.
You got your little gun repair kit that you go on a trip with. You might have a loose screw. You might have this, a little something with that.
Yeah, an Allen wrench set is great. And I know that it sounds so redundant as a stocking stuffer, but man, you cannot have enough of them. One in your gun bag, one in your hunt bag, one in the door of your truck. Like they need to be everywhere.
Yep. Yep. Trust me, I went on an elk trip about 6 years ago. Went to Utah, got my rig out, realized my front swivel for my sling was slightly loose, and I said, "Who has a 4 millimeter Allen wrench?" And three hands went up. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which one, right? But it was great. It was kind of like testing the crowd to see the readiness. But we got that thing squared
Yeah,
away,
it's like
and the
who's been
follow.
through this before?
Yep, and the following morning, I harvested a nice 5x5. So it was good. It's just those little things you think about.
But you and I think about the same thing too. Like I have custom ears, right? And so I'm not in habit of even carrying extras like foamies. But how many times do you get there? You left them in the room or in the wrong bag or in the truck or something like those little things do make a difference. And I don't know, maybe it's my age, but I've had a little bit of ringing in one ear and I have just been so paranoid. I'm like, is it because maybe I've got like a sinus thing or has the shooting in the duck blind like started picking up and or like, showing the consequences of not wearing hearing protection because you don't think about it.
All the time, right?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yep. And that has been something that I got really serious about this year because when you're pheasant hunting and you're in the big wide open, it's a different sound than when you start duck hunting in a blind and you're having all that sound bounce around, And
Right.
so,
You got a roof over your head, or this or
yeah,
that, and
I
it
wasn't really
refracts.
serious about it
Yep.
until now.
It refracts a lot of sound, and let me tell you something. I have a little bit of it, right? I worked in a very loud industry, a lot of race cars, pressed air, blowing parts off. I have headphones. You see me; they pretty much. I wear them on my head all the time because I still hear okay. I have one range missing. I could probably use a set of hearing aids, but that'll be in time.
Oh,
Protect what you got.
and
Protect what you
then
got.
our favorite thing that we love, both of us, is our RE Ranger glasses. If your hunter or shooter in your family does not have Ranger glasses, that is the best gift. I love my Ranger glasses. I have three pair of them, and I know I can only wear
I
one,
have at least
but
three
I
pairs.
do. I love them.
I do not shoot a gun without my RE Rangers. I do
Yeah,
not shoot them. I have different colors. When I'm in, I wear my Zeiss Drive Safe lenses, and when I'm in a duck blind, you know that dead zone from the water just to the top of the phragmitis that no one else sees the duck? That's where I'm
got
doing
it.
most of my killing. That's where I'm doing most of my harvesting.
Well, they
Everybody
do have
else
the
in the
latest
boat or in the
technology.
blind, I
But
can
talking
see.
about like all the historic things that we've talked about, I have podcasted with them. And so it's an older podcast. Maybe it was even 2 years ago on the All American Wing Shooting podcast. And their family history is truly the all American story. And just blown away at the history of that company. Not only do I like genuinely love that product, but you cannot help but support them because they live it. It is still family owned. It's actually female owned,
Right, right.
and they give
Super,
back to our industry. They're just like,
super warranty. All you have to do is call them and tell them you have an issue. The new part's in the mail. They will take care of anything. Product consistency is through the moon. We sell a ton of them here.
yeah, these are not
I
sponsored
wear,
products. Like
yeah,
we are
I wear
pushing just literally
prescription.
what we use.
Yeah, I wear prescriptions so that I wear the Model D Edge, and they're just over the top. When I'm driving in North Dakota, I have my Drive Safe Rangers on the dashboard. When it's snowing, raining, or
So
fog or
funny.
anything,
I
I've
have
got
one over
those
there.
on, and I wonder why is everybody driving so slow? That's how well I can see with that product on.
Okay, so they do actually have a sunglass line, and I've not gotten their lifestyle line, but I think that I'm gonna definitely move in that direction next. I'm pretty sure that they have an aviator, which is what I normally wear, but yeah, I love them. I'd forgotten about that. That's another great gift. All the things that we love. So I hope this helps.
Holiday ideas.
Yeah.
Holiday ideas.
We're gonna get this one posted like tomorrow. This
There
episode's
you
posted
go.
tomorrow. We're gonna skip some, just so that people hear mine and Kevin's favorite things. And if you want to
Tis
drop
the
a call this
season.
year, or if
Yeah.
you're already done shopping, go on, make your list for next year. Heck, come visit us at Griffin and Howe and do shopping with us because we would love nothing more than to help you guys find the coolest products. And if you're treasure hunting, we want to hear about it. We want to hear about all the cool finds.
Smoking.
Merry Christmas to you, Kevin. I hate I'm not going to get to see you for Christmas this year, but
I won't,
um,
but I'll reach out. I'll
I will
text you. I'll
see
reach
you in
out to you.
January and definitely in February, counting down the days.
Okay. Look forward to it. Have a good one.
Thank you all for listening.
Bye now.
The dawn's finally breaking as I leave this sleepy town. The sun is slowly rising and the fog is on the ground.